Go ahead.
I told you I was here.
This week, we had to say goodbye to one of the great artists of our time. David Lynch passed away a few days before his 79th birthday. Born on January 20th, 1946 in Missoula, Montana, his father, Donald Lynch, had graduated from the University of Montana with a doctorate in forestry before doing 4 years in the Navy during World War II as an engineer on the USS Mugford. He then became a federal employee for the U.S. Forestry Service. The Department of Agriculture had been a big part of the New Deal under Secretary of Agriculture Henry Wallace. And throughout David Lynch's childhood, his family moved all around from Montana to Idaho to Washington to North Carolina, all before he was 14, on behalf of the USDA. And finally to Alexandria, Virginia, where David Lynch went to high school. He rebelled against the quiet Presbyterianism of his parents and saw school as destroying his seeds of liberty. But he also joined the Boy Scouts and rose to become an Eagle Scout. David Lynch wanted to be an artist and he decided to become a painter, first attempting to study at the School of the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston, which he said completely lacked inspiration for him. Then he tried to go learn painting in Austria with Jack Fisk, who would go on to be his production designer, and came back to the States after 2 weeks. Then he moved to Philadelphia and enrolled in the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts. He met and married his first wife Peggy in 1967, and by the next year they had a daughter. His interest in film came after he had the idea that he wanted to make his paintings move. His first short film was 6 Men Getting Sick. Which led to a prize and a commission to do a film exhibition from a fellow student. He had his wife Peggy star in The Alphabet. This installation led to David hearing about the American Film Institute Conservatory, where he sent Alphabet and script for a new film, The Grandmother, which was approved, and David packed up his wife and daughter and moved to LA. Seeing The Grandmother, George Stevens Jr. recommended that he apply to the AFI Center for Advanced Filmmaking. David's idea was for a film called The Garden Back, but the feedback was so frustrating that he almost quit the conservatory. Scrapping Garden Back, he began working with his friends Sissy Spacek, Jack Fisk, Frederick Elms, and Alan Splett on Eraserhead.
Do I just cut them up like regular chickens?
Sure, just cut them up like regular chickens.
The production lasted from 1972 to 1976. The film ballooned from 42 minutes to 89 minutes, and they quickly blew through AFI's $10,000 grant, so funding was a problem. This was also when David split with Peggy, his first wife, and by 1977 he was married to his second wife, Mary Fisk. Cannes Film Festival and the New York Film Festival rejected Eraserhead, but the LA Film Festival accepted it, and Ben Barenholtz saw it there and loved it. Getting it put onto the midnight movie circuit, it was discovered by Mel Brooks' producer, Stuart Cornfield, who loved it and showed it to Mel Brooks, who also loved it, calling David Jimmy Stewart from Mars. David Lynch asked for help and for help finding a new script to direct. Stuart Cornfield found the Elephant Man screenplay, and they agreed to produce it for Brooks Films.
It's been a great disappointment, George.
No, Mr. Merrick, no. No son as loving as you could ever be a disappointment.
If only I could find her so she could see me.
The Elephant Man was a huge critical and commercial success and netted 8 Oscar nominations. After that, George Lucas offered David the chance to direct Return of the Jedi, but he ultimately turned that down. Then, Dino De Laurentiis offered to put David Lynch under contract for 3 projects, if the first one was based on Frank Herbert's Dune. That ended up being the most disastrous and hard film that David Lynch had to shoot, since he didn't have Final Cut, and the desire to make a new Star Wars completely compromised his vision. After the 1984 Dune flopped, David went back to writing his own scripts. Taking ideas he had since 1973, David Lynch wrote and directed Blue Velvet.
Oh, Mommy! Mommy! Mommy!
Mommy loves you.
Baby wants to fuck! Get ready to fuck! You fuckers, fucker!
The controversy around Blue Velvet, the rape scene, audiences' bad reactions to it, and the critics loving it made David Lynch a mainstream name, and it netted him a second Oscar nomination for Best Director. After Blue Velvet, David Lynch turned to TV, working with the producer Mark Frost to create Twin Peaks. At the same time, he was working on Wild at Heart. After moving around the days from Thursday to Saturday night and granting a second season, ABC believed that the interest in Twin Peaks went down and canceled it. But Wild at Heart was a commercial success that allowed David Lynch to at least do Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me. After several more years of trying to make a TV career work, David Lynch returned to filmmaking with tonight's film Lost Highway.
Where was it you think we met?
At your house, don't you remember?
No, I don't. Are you sure?
Of course. As a matter of fact, I'm there right now.
Along with Mulholland Drive, this is a direction that David Lynch is now known for, the non-linear, incredibly surrealist neo-noir film. Described by David Lynch as a psychogenic fugue and by critics as a Mobius strip, beginning with the phrase Dick Laurent is dead, it tells the story of an LA saxophone player, Fred Madison, played by Bill Pullman, and his wife Renee, played by Patricia Arquette, who begin to get strange VHS tapes delivered to their house that show them sleeping. We see flashes of things in Fred's mind and dreams, including Renee clearly cheating on him.
Dream last night. You were inside the house. You were calling my name.
A dream where a woman who resembles her gets attacked, and this mystery man who keeps appearing. The mystery man tells Fred he's in his house right now. The next day, Fred finds a tape where he's dismembered Renee and gets arrested for murder. On death row, in a jail where the guard is Henry Rollins, Fred is plagued by headaches and abruptly disappears. He's replaced by an auto mechanic named Pete, played by Balthazar Getty, who women can't resist, stuck in a cell, which leads the correction officers to freak out and eventually release him. He goes back to working on cars and laying pipe with his girlfriend Sheila, played by Natasha Gregson Wagner. He's then taken for a ride by Mr. Eddie, played by Robert Loggia, the world's most traffic-conscious mafia figure.
Tell him you won't tailgate.
Hammer!
I won't ever.
Do you know how many fucking car lengths it takes to stop a car at 35 miles an hour? 6 fucking car lengths! That's 106 fucking feet, mister! If I had to stop suddenly, you would have hit me!
Who wants him to work on his caddy, but makes the mistake of arriving with his girlfriend Alice, also played by Patricia Arquette. They begin an ill-fated affair and realize Mr. Eddie knows, and they must flee. At the moment of highest tension, Pete turns back into Fred Madison, who's running away from both the mystery man and the cops, and the Mobius loop is completed.
50 fucking thousand people were killed on the highway last year because of fucking assholes like you!